welcome back. So today I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch and also try and answer the age-old question of what is better, PS4 or Xbox. So the question is the Switch worth buying? So to give you a bit of a backstory on this, I'm going to start by answering the age-old question of PS4 or Xbox, sort of thing that's been going on for a few years now. Like with PlayStation, it was the first console to be released out of all these modern day consoles. It was the first one to be released, and like PlayStation was the first original PlayStation 1 was pretty damn good. Then obviously you had PlayStation 2 that came out. Everybody swore by them. But then Xbox came out, and you had the big, massive, chunky controller, and it wasn't a bad console, but with that massive controller and everything, you're still better off sticking with the Xbox, with the PlayStation. Sorry, the PlayStation 2 was still better. It had better games on it, and it was just easier to use. And plus, if you wanted to go to your mate's house and you wanted to take your Xbox with you, for instance, you're like, oh, it's only a 10-minute walk down the road, it's fine, I'll stick it in my backpack, I'll walk with you. One, it was massive, so it probably won't fit in your backpack. Two, it was so heavy that it was unreal. You was dying by the time you got down, just to the bottom of the street. It was unreal. But then everything changed. PS3 came out, and the Xbox 360 came out. And that's when this debate all came about, really, of what's better, PlayStation or Xbox. And actually, I made the jump from PlayStation to Xbox, because for that PlayStation 3, I did have both of them, and PlayStation 3, there was a couple of decent games, but there wasn't that many games that I was buying for it that I wasn't that interested in it. Whereas 360, there was hundreds of fresh ideas and fresh games out there that, especially, that was Xbox only as well. That was fantastic games, especially since that's where a lot of my mates were as well. There was all on Xbox, so it was all competing for gamer score and who'd be the best, and like it was just such a good experience for us all to be in touch with each other. And like even today, we're still slightly I still have a look to see what their gamer scores are like in comparison to what mine is. But I haven't been on the Xbox itself in quite a while. I'll explain that in a bit. But yeah, it was just like you'd have a stack of like PS3 games that was like that, but then I'd have like a massive stack of 360. And it was unreal the amount of games I had for that. Like walls were covered in them, because if I didn't get 100% on all the achievements or whatever, I could not bring myself to get rid of them. But then, so 360 definitely was the better console at that point. But then when it moved to like Xbox One and PS4, I think for like the Xbox One, I only ended up getting like 3 or 4 games for it. Maybe a few more than that, but honestly, in fact, definitely got more games than that. I probably got about 10 games for it, but honestly, I didn't get that many games for it because there was nothing that I was overly fussed about, and like at this point, I never had a day off of work, so I never had time to really play games. So there wasn't that many games that I was buying for it. Whereas the PS4, I didn't actually own one, but obviously Gemma does. So when we moved in together, we had both consoles, and even though it's not my console, I was still buying games for it to play on her console, because there was games like Final Fantasy and that was coming out that I couldn't help but want to play. So in the end, I've probably got about the same amount of games I have for the PS4 than I have for the Xbox One. So at this point, I'd say Xbox One has kind of faded a bit, and it's not at the same level as PlayStation is now. So yeah, I'm probably at a point where PlayStation's actually took over and it's better. But then there's the Nintendo question. You bring that one in, and like you talk about innovative stuff, like the Wii was great with the remote and all that. It was fantastic technology. It was new. It was something that we didn't have. and then PlayStation did the Move controller, which was exactly the same. And then they had the whole sensor as well, so it'd track your movements and stuff like that. And then Xbox released Kinect, which again I'd say was better technology. It wasn't great, but it was better than what they had. So again, I'd still say that was, they just weren't keeping up with Nintendo. That they come up with something and someone else, fair enough, would steal that idea, but then they'd make it better. And even like the balance board and all stuff like that for like the Wii Fit and all that, it died out eventually. And then they didn't really release any fresh new games for it, and they weren't releasing the same sort of games that everybody else were. So people were just getting bored of it so quick. I gave up with it. I gave my Wii to my mum. And then the Wii U came about after that, and I never even bothered to get one because at this point I was boycotting Nintendo. I'd had enough. But then recently the Switch came out. So when the Switch came out, I went, here we go. This is an amazing idea. It's an actual console that can also be used as a handheld. This is absolutely incredible, new technology, but if it's going to be like the Wii, where all they're going to do is release 50,000 Mario, 50,000 Sonic, and all this, and just going to keep doing the same games over and over again, and they're not going to come up with anything new, then what is the actual point? I'm not going to be bothered with it. So it's been a year now, roughly, since the console came out, and I was just like, there's some decent stuff starting to come out. So I've actually got myself a Switch now. And because I've got myself a Switch, there's so many games out there that I've had to go and buy. So for instance, the Pokemon Let's Go series, so you've got Eevee and Pikachu, which takes you back to your childhood. They are absolutely amazing. They're just as good as I remember. I mean, the way that they've incorporated it with Pokemon Go as well, it's so much harder now than it used to be, because it's so much harder to like level up your Pokemon or whatever else. You can't just run around battling everything. You've actually got to go out and catch Pokemon to do it, and there's not that many battles out there that'll get you big XP either, so you've got to constantly keep finding new Pokemon. So I find it very, very interesting, like the way that they've improved the game as well. So it's a really top game, is that. Obviously you've got the big two games. If you're going to have a Switch, you need to have either the new Legend of Zelda or the new Mario, because both of them are absolutely fantastic. You cannot own a Switch without owning at least one of them, possibly both. I've got the Zelda game, which is absolutely amazing. I've also got like the new Crash Bandicoot on there, so it's a game that you can always take on holiday with you. Same goes for Minecraft, which is a game that I've also had to get on there. I'm really impressed as well that they've released Skyrim on there, so the fact that you can get massive game like Skyrim on a tiny little chip that you can actually take on holiday with you is unbelievable. I do not know how they've managed to pull that off. I'm impressed that they're getting such big games down to this sort of size. So there's games like that, big games as well that I've had to go out and buy because I couldn't turn myself away from. Is the new Mario Kart Deluxe, which is an absolutely fantastic game, especially if you've got your mates round. Good game just to like play with your mates, have a drink with, chill out for a bit. Very competitive, always a good laugh. Same goes for the new Super Smash Brothers. Absolutely top game, especially with all like the 74 characters plus millions of side characters that are in it. It's just absolutely amazing to play. The story in it is so hard, but it brings you that whole thing of, again, if you're playing with your mates, to try and unlock all these characters, to try and get all your favourite people in the game. Like I always love like trying to get Cloud, for instance, and always playing as the Pokemon trainers and stuff like that. Really good. So there are so many good games. There's new stuff coming out soon as well. Stuff like No More Heroes, which will be coming out for it very soon. In fact, by the time this video's uploaded, it probably will even be out by now. So, so many top games and all these big console games that you're getting for like the PlayStation, the Xbox, all these top branded games, all coming down to one console. So the fact that some of it as well is cross compatible, like if you've got someone who has an Xbox playing Minecraft, the Switch will also be cross compatible with it. So they seem to be going in the right direction. So I did boycott them for so long, but it seems like they're pulling it back to the right place now. So if you want to know, is the Switch worth buying? Then I would definitely say 100% yes, yes it is. Again, just one other thing that I want to touch on as well, big games as well like Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Xenoverse that are massive games on console. They've also managed to fit down on this little handheld device as well, which is ridiculous. And obviously Fighter Z is the one I've gone for. I would love to play Xenoverse as well. I may even do a video on which one I prefer to play out of the two of them eventually. But until then, I will see you guys next time. So that's bye for now, guys, and don't forget to go get yourself a Nintendo Switch.